What happens when the person everyone depends on finally stops defending herself? For Emma, the silence changed everything. Emma had spent 32 years explaining herself, every choice, every boundary, every dream she dared to speak out loud. Her family never understood, or maybe they just didn't want to. But one ordinary Tuesday, after one more dismissive comment, something inside her went quiet. And that's when everything shifted. Emma was the glue, the mediator, the one who showed up early to family dinners and stayed late to clean up. She listened to her mother's complaints, her brother's financial troubles, her sister's marriage drama. She absorbed it all with a patient smile, always ready with advice, always offering help. But whenever Emma spoke about her own life, her decision to go back to school at 30, her choice to stay single, her dream of moving to a smaller town, the room would go cold. Her mother would sigh. Her brother would smirk. Her sister would say, "That's nice," in a tone that meant the opposite. So Emma learned to explain. She justified her choices with careful reasoning, hoping that if she used the right words, they'd finally see her. She thought if she could just make them understand, they'd respect her decisions. She was wrong. The pattern was exhausting. Every phone call became a negotiation. Every visit required a defense strategy. When Emma mentioned she was taking a ceramics class, her mother asked why she was wasting time on hobbies instead of finding a husband. When she set a boundary about not lending money anymore, her brother accused her of being selfish. And each time Emma would explain, she'd list her reasons like she was on trial. She'd soften her words, apologize for having needs, and try to prove she wasn't the villain they were painting her as. Her friends noticed. "Why do you do that?" they'd ask. "You don't owe them a dissertation every time you make a choice." But Emma couldn't stop, because stopping felt like giving up, like admitting she'd never be enough. But one conversation was about to break the pattern. It was a Tuesday evening. Emma's sister called, upset because Emma had declined to host Thanksgiving that year. "You always host," her sister said. "What's the problem?" Emma felt the familiar urge rising, the need to justify, to smooth things over, to explain that she was overwhelmed with work and school and just needed one holiday where she wasn't responsible for everything. She opened her mouth to start the explanation, and then she stopped. Not out of anger, not as a power move. She just realized, in that moment, that nothing she said would matter. Her sister wasn't calling to understand. She was calling to change Emma's mind. So instead, Emma said, "I'm not hosting this year. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving." Silence. Her sister tried again. "But why? At least explain." "I'm not hosting this year," Emma repeated, softer this time. "I love you. I'll see you soon." She hung up. She thought the guilt would destroy her. Instead, something unexpected happened. The first week was brutal. Emma's phone exploded with messages. Her mother called her cold. Her brother said she was acting strange. Her sister sent long texts about family loyalty. Every fiber of Emma's being wanted to respond, to explain, to fix it. But she didn't. Not because she didn't care, but because she finally understood that her explanations had never changed anything. They'd only exhausted her. So she stayed quiet. She let them be uncomfortable with her choices. She let them think whatever they wanted to think. And slowly, something shifted. Her mother stopped calling with every complaint. Her brother stopped asking for money he never intended to repay. Her sister started planning her own holiday gatherings without expecting Emma to do the work. At first, Emma thought they were punishing her with distance. But then she realized they weren't angry. They had just finally accepted that Emma wasn't going to negotiate anymore. But the real transformation wasn't in her family. It was in Emma herself. Months passed. Emma finished her semester with top grades. She moved to the small town she'd been dreaming about. She adopted a dog. She stopped checking her phone every 5 minutes, waiting for approval that was never going to come. And here's what she discovered. She had been explaining herself to the wrong people. The whole time, Emma thought the problem was that her family didn't understand her. But the real problem was that Emma didn't believe she had the right to make her own choices without permission. She had been seeking external validation because she hadn't given herself internal permission to simply be. When she stopped explaining, she stopped performing. She stopped auditioning for acceptance. She stopped shrinking herself to fit into someone else's expectations. And in that space, that quiet, unexplained space, Emma finally met herself. Her family eventually came around, but not in the way she expected. A year later, Emma's mother visited her new home. She walked through the small house, looked at the pottery Emma had made, sat on the porch and watched the sunset. And then she said quietly, "You seem happy." Not, "I understand now." Not, "You were right." Just, "You seem happy." Emma smiled, because that was enough. Her mother wasn't apologizing for years of dismissal. She wasn't suddenly validating all of Emma's choices, but she was seeing Emma, really seeing her for the first time. And Emma realized the people who truly loved her didn't need a PowerPoint presentation to respect her. They just needed her to respect herself first. Her brother started calling less frequently, but the conversations were warmer. Her sister invited her to things without expecting her to run them. The relationships didn't become perfect, but they became real because Emma had stopped auditioning. And when you stop performing, the people who love the real you finally get to meet her. So, what changed everything? It wasn't what she said. Emma's story isn't about cutting people off. It's not about being cold or shutting down. It's about understanding a simple truth. You don't owe anyone a defense for living your life. The people who love you will adjust. The people who don't, won't. And that's okay, because the most liberating thing you can do is stop explaining yourself to people who have already decided not to understand. Emma stopped talking, and in the quiet, she finally heard her own voice. Maybe it's time you heard yours too. If this story resonated with you, you're not alone. Thank you for being here.